Hello, this is Bob Cooke from the YouTube channel TA Therapy, and today I'm going to talk about multiple personality disorder and its treatment, often today called dissociative identity disorder. Okay, let's start with the treatment plan then. I put it down here, and we have at least 10 stages here. First one being trust, second one being diagnosis, third one, communication with accessible alters. Fourth one, contracting with the alters to attend treatment. Next one, no harm contracts of the body they share. History gathering of each alter. Solving alters problems. Understanding of the structure of the personality system. Encouraging communication between alters, and finally in this treatment plan, the integration of personalities. So let's go through the treatment plan I put. First one, trust. This is very important as a beginning stage. It's talking about building up trust or working alliance with the presenting personality or alter, doing the script analysis, getting to know them, listening to their story, attuning, being with them. And trust, of course, is probably the major injunction for this person because of the invasion of trust in their history, usually abuse, usually an invasion of their body, usually they come from a chaotic system. So trust will be really a big issue here. And in fact, trust and the development of trust will probably go on throughout the whole of the therapeutic process. So there has to be a real focus on trust between the two of you in the co-creation of this therapy. The next stage, which is really important to talk about here, is the diagnosis. Now, after the script analysis you've done, you'll come to a diagnosis. And the best thing here to do is to share that with the presenting client, presenting alter. And in fact, as you get to understand the personality systems and the other alters involved, either through regression or understanding through cognition, then you will share with the personalities the diagnostic system and the treatment plan that you propose with them. So they all have an understanding of the journey you're going on. Okay, so after that we go to the next stage, which is about communicating with the different accessible alters. Remember here, most of the alters you come across will not be accessible. What I mean by that is that you will only be able to really talk to them by understanding the unconscious system and through regression techniques to get to those submerged, out of awareness alters. So really what I'm talking about here is alters that are accessible, that turn up perhaps in the therapeutic process as you go down the layers, and to concentrate on actually transacting with them and getting rapport and building up trust with each of the alters that you come across. So this is a process, not an event. It's bit by bit, identifying, talking and communicating with the different parts of the personality that actually present themselves. Because of course the dissociation, the denial system for the person is so strong that they themselves don't know the existence of many of the different parts of themselves or the different parts which we're going to call alters here. So this is pretty, patient work really. Next, after that, you will look towards contracting. Contracting, first of all, that the different parts of the personality or different distinct personalities sharing the same body, I should say, will first of all attend for treatment and turn up. Secondly, after you've got that contract with the accessible alters that you can actually reach, The next thing is to get a contract with them, or at least an agreement, hopefully, that they won't harm the body that they share, that they won't self-harm. So this is a protection contract, and very necessary in this whole treatment process that we're going through. Okay, after that we're going to concentrate more on script analysis of the different personalities that you come across. Each personality will have a distinct script analysis, even though they've had the same history. They will have developed at different times in the psychological process, and therefore you need to understand the injunctions, the drivers, the early script decisions of each of these personalities in a unique way, and how they fit into the system. So this is a lot of gathering of historical data, a lot of actual inquiry and attunement and involvement to the specific alters that you come across to get more script analysis, so you understand the different personalities that you're actually dealing with. So this is slow work, it's patient work, it's really like being a detective, bit by bit. Okay, let's look on to what I mean by solving alters problems. What I really mean here is to go into the child ego state of the different personalities that you come across, to actually look at the unresolved child ego state conflicts, to see what healing can be done, what resolution in terms of integration can be resolved. And of course, as there's usually so much trauma, so much loss, so much grief, a lot of healing will be done here in terms of grief and loss, and working through the post-traumatic stress, which will bring healing. I'm not so sure about resolution, but there'll be resolution in terms of them externalizing the process and grief probably for the first time. So in that sense, there's an early resolution. Of course, in a much larger and longer sense, when we talk about true integration, then resolution takes a different sense when we talk about the integrative nature of the objectives. Okay, let's move on finally. Oh, sorry, this is the 9th stage, isn't it? This is now, as you make contracts with all the different personalities, you've started to do script analysis of the different personalities, and you've started to really perhaps even come across even more of the inaccessible alters. We now talk about looking at how it all fits together, how the personalities interact or don't interact in the system, how they compete for time in the system, how their contracts fit into being in the system, and how does it all work? How does the whole system in the complex personality structure actually fit together here in the systemic therapy that we are embarking on? A bit like in a way of doing group therapy here, understanding all the different parts and seeing how all the parts fit together in a therapeutic sense. Then moving on to the 10th slide, we're now, as we understand the system, understand the different role that the different personalities have in the system, talking to more of the inaccessible alters. We're now encouraging communication in a much more overt way between the alters that you've actually come across and are developing a transactional dialogue with. So we need to keep them talking to each other, get them to actually transacting with each other, because they'll be competing for airtime probably with you. They may even not like the different parts of themselves. So the name of the game here is cooperation, negotiation, teaching them to talk to each other, to negotiate with each other, to respect each other, to have a sense of integrity with each other, just like you would do if it was group therapy. Once you've done that, you're then going to move on to hopefully looking at how you can work towards some sort of integration of the different personalities, so that the host alter, that's the major alter, can actually take the major function in the integration of personalities. Now, with most MPD treatments, full integration becomes a very difficult, if not impossible, task. So this may be integration of 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or even more of the personalities. Pretty difficult to go for true or full integration. mainly because of all the grief and loss that actually is here. Can you imagine saying loss to, or experiencing loss and grief for all the different abandonments, all the different parts of the self? So this may not be what actually happens. You may quit while you're ahead. In other words, you may quit at the time in the process where they understand each other, where the host alter has more of an adult function, where they can cooperate, manage, negotiate in a more harmonious way. That could be the end of the treatment plan, or resolution as we call it. Hopefully there will be some integration of some of the personalities so that there's more energy in the system and not such a fragmented process. However, full integration is pretty hard and often may involve some hospitalization if that's the case. Finally, one thing to say here really is that in my professional experience, integration of some of the alters might be the end of the treatment process, because in the end we're really asking the person in terms of healing to take ownership of the dissociated, disavowed, cut off, fragmented parts of the self in the terms of healing, so there's more energy and much more sense of energy in the adult ego state, which is the major alter, in the terms of healing and integration. Okay, and finally, I want to say thank you for listening. Please remember that working with MPD is a long-term therapy, involves many years of patient, gentle work. It's a process, not an event. It's deep therapy. Work with many of the regressive techniques which you've learned in your training. Really experienced therapists are the people that really should work with these types of disorders, as it isn't a disorder for inexperienced therapists to work with, because you're really talking about working with many different personalities within a fragmented system. So it's like doing therapy with a big group, a fragmented cut-off group, and working towards getting harmony, negotiation, cooperation, and some sense of continuity and integration in the system. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.